That 4-letter ingredient is in every recipe we see. In these recipes, there are two trains of thought. One, give an exact amount of salt to use, or two, it says salt or salt to taste. The exact amount of salt method should really only be used where an exact amount is really called for. Things that come to mind include fermentations and charcuterie. In my recent lacto-fermented blueberry video, we added 2% salt based on the total weight of the blueberries, and in that case, that is what is needed for the fermentation to occur. However, in the majority of our day-to-day cooking, number 2, salting by taste, is always the way to proceed. Burgers, mashed potatoes, steaks, salads, soups, and stews are all dishes that really should be salted to taste, and it's for a pretty simple reasons. Humans experience flavor uniquely. What may taste perfectly salted for you may be completely under or over salted for me. So if you're following a recipe that says to use a teaspoon of salt, take that measurement with a grain of salt, and I'll show you a very pragmatic reason why. Very rarely do recipes specify what type of salt they're using. Here I have a flake salt, a coarse salt, and an ultra fine salt. If we bust out the scale and get a teaspoon of each, we'll see that they weigh different amounts. So unless you are using my exact brand of Morton's coarse kosher salt that I use in my everyday cooking, that teaspoon of salt in the recipe is going to make your dish more or less salty than mine. I would argue that the majority of home cooks severely undersalt the food that they are cooking, and it's often the number one culprit of why the food doesn't taste as good as you think it should. This is also a common reason why respected chefs will say the number one skill for a cook to learn is how to properly salt their food. Now that we've talked about the importance of salting by taste, how do you actually learn and apply it? The first step is to understand how much salt you are actually applying when you're doing it by taste. Take a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and pour it into your hand. Next, take a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and pour that into your hand. This will help you understand how much salt looks like. The next step is to take your hand and do a 2-finger pinch of salt and pour that into your hand. Next, repeat the process with a 3-finger pinch and a 4-finger pinch or a full handful. This is a way for you to start understanding from a visual perspective how much salt you're adding to your dishes. The next step is to taste a dish with low, medium, and high salt content. There are 2 good ways to do this, and the first experiment we'll run is with pasta. Take a pot, fill it with water, and bring it to a boil. Then add a 2-finger pinch of salt, boil a small amount of pasta, and then repeat this process with a 3-finger pinch of salt and a 4-finger pinch of salt. Once you have all of your pastas assembled, try them and give them a taste. Which one tasted best to you? Was it the 2-finger pinch, the 3-finger pinch, or the 4-finger pinch? A good rule of thumb for pasta is that the water should be as salty as the sea, and this is a moniker from Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat by Samin Nosrat's, which I would highly recommend if you're looking to get better at cooking. Another way you can test this is by gradually adding salt to a dish. Here's a bowl of ancho chili broth that I had. Slowly add 1 pinch at a time. Stir in the salt, give it a taste. 1 more pinch, 1 more taste, 1 more pinch, 1 more taste. You should be able to taste the effect that the salt is having. And if you go a pinch at a time, it's going to be really, really hard to oversalt a dish. Now that you know the importance of learning to salt by taste and how to get better at it, your cooking and foods will definitely start to flourish and your taste buds will be so much more happy. I hope you all have enjoyed the video, learned a little something as well. Definitely drop a like and subscribe to stay updated to all my videos, and I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.